me now. How them boys like me now. Things that'll probably lift a dinosaur off the ground. Hey. Homeboys, who they stepping up to? I got hands ready to dance like Step It Up too. They got a clique full of chicks and we'll serve they members. And I'm getting money so the bank I enter. Cop so much ice that he feel like winter. Jewels on my neck like the Bird Gang member.
Ricardo Valdez Valentine Jr., aka Black, born June 24th, 1992. Today's feature is the story of time, passion, consistent focus, and the journey of an artist wanting it so bad that physically he had to step away and allow his mind time to replenish itself and allow him to continue doing what he's loved since 4 years old, performing and making music. More importantly, to find the inspiration and motivation to make music after dealing with a depression and an answer to the pressures of the music industry. Black has been in the game now for almost 15 years, signing his first record deal in 2011 at just 19 years old. Stardom didn't come easy or overnight for Black, as he had to wait years for his chance to shine in the spotlight on the biggest stages across the world, and hearing his music recited all over the country and sang along to globally. He was arguably the hottest R&B act from 2016 to 18, releasing an album that went platinum November that year, led by his song Problem that was played over 306 million times on YouTube and even more on streaming platforms, and introduced Black to the world as a hybrid rapper and singer, best categorized as vibe or mood hip-hop and R&B, picking up from where Bryson Tiller left off in the lane of trap soul singer and rapper. The song remains his best single to date, moving over 4 million copies in the US alone. By 2018, he was more comfortable and geared for a big year, beginning with OTW, released with Khalid and Ty Dolla $ign, that went double platinum and peaked at 57 on the Billboard charts, marking the highest peak he's been involved in thus far. It was followed by a few Black classics, Switch and Pretty Little Fears featuring J. Cole, that also went double platinum. They made way for his sophomore album, East Atlanta Love Letter, that was a fan favorite, peaking at number 3 on the charts, higher than his debut, even though it didn't match his first album in sales. 2 successful albums under his belt and countless successful singles stamped Black as a viable music artist that had music that was in demand and a style very unique to him in this new era where many things can sound like rough drafted, referenced inspirations of one another. What I like most about Black is you can tell he takes his time with the music and views it as more than a hustle, but a passion he would be doing no matter the circumstance, and one he loved so much he needed to get away from in order to take care of himself in other important ways that would keep him going even stronger in the future. Things like the relationships in his life and his mental health. With all the success, it still feels like Black isn't as big an artist as he should be and may focus more of a decline from here on for these reasons. What exactly happened to Black? Let's talk about it. Salute to Twin on IG for this request. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Black is a singer, songwriter, and rapper from Baltimore, Maryland that moved to Atlanta, Georgia at around 5 years old. By then, he already knew he wanted to be some sort of entertainer, and it was likely going to involve singing and rapping. He found his escape from the draining schoolwork by freestyle battling anyone that challenged him, once rapping in front of Young Thug when they were both teenagers at the same school. Rapper Cassidy became a huge inspiration for Black, who encouraged him to develop his wordplay and writing, but also his confidence. He changed schools a lot, but continued to battle rap and sing a bit on the side. He first signed an indie record deal with Flow Rida's label in 2011 and moved to Miami with no promises other than knowing he had a studio to work in every day. He lived on the streets or slept in the studio and went hungry many nights for 5 years before things even began to move for the star in the making. Stunt number 1, a SoundCloud rapper. Although school was school for Black like it is for most kids that find the work and task daunting, he was good at it and was able to enroll at Valdosta State University in Georgia and attended a year before he signed his deal and moved to Miami. What he didn't know was the next 5 years were going to be the most trying, where not much would happen musically. Signed to the label, he was basically shelved because either the time wasn't right or he needed that much more time to refine and perfect his craft a bit more before he was ready for the bright lights. So for the moment, Black was nothing more than a SoundCloud rapper, consistently uploading songs and building a small fan base. Even though it took 5 years, it was time well endured, seeing as the music industry grew in so many ways that made it easier for a guy like Black to become popular and grow. When you see him, for one, he's not your typical rap or R&B star, skinny, small, and as anti-boisterous as can be, with matted hair and an unassuming posture. Secondly, he doesn't sound like what was poppin' on the rap side or R&B side in the early 2010s, not having rap or R&B bars typical of what you would expect a rapper or singer to sound like. But come mid-decade, the music game, rap and R&B specifically, were much more open to mumble rappers and rappers expressing themselves in softer ways that frankly wouldn't fly back in the day. Also, his trap-hop sound evolved as well, most famously through Bryson Tiller, who Black is often compared to being able to harmonize and rap. Tiller completely burst the doors off the trap soul subgenre, setting the landscape for a Black to build a future on. It took 5 years and a deal that creatively was moving in different directions, wasn't enough money signing for just $5,000, and seemed pointless because the label just didn't know what to do with a guy like Black at the time. He ended up leaving the label because of licensing issues and creative differences, not to mention no light in the tunnel that things would get better. Yes, it was 5 years, you can say nothing tangible was accomplished, but it allowed him to bake until the timing was perfect. Stunt number 2, promotion of self. I don't know if it's a trap soul thing that has Bryson Tiller and Black suffering from the same thing, but they both are stars that would be much bigger if they were into self-promoting or it came a bit more natural to them. Black is a very quiet person with a life path number 6, so he's often putting people before himself and not drawing attention, which is how he feels most comfortable. He explains the reason his favorite color is black is because it's a color he can just fade into the background and just be off to himself, likely overthinking some situation that happened before, or just finding peace and balance in a world so demanding. With that personality, you can understand how contradicting that would be to an entertainment star who's in a vocation that requires you to be in the people's eye, on their minds, and leaving their mouth as much as possible. His calm, shy, non-confrontational demeanor works for his music though, as it always feels like you should give it a chance, and smooth enough to follow along and attempt to understand whatever interesting story of love, heartbreak, and disappointment he's offering through his music. After leaving his first label, he'd sign a few more deals, one with Spillage Village, founded by hip-hop duo Earth Gang, that produced a few features on an EP, and then with Love Renaissance and Interscope Records in 2016. He released Problem September that year, and a video a month later, and right then it became the moment he was waiting for. It's his first official video on YouTube and his most viewed as well, and again, well over 300 million views. 2 months later, his debut drops and is also a success, picking up a nomination at the Grammys for Best Urban Contemporary Album. I think self-promotion is a necessity being an entertainer, or is a learned behavior, and even though he's had great success, it hurts Black's notoriety not being as great at it. Stunt number 3, struggling with mental health. One of the most tricky things to do is measure a person by things you can't see or feel. It's like being an athlete and a teammate goes down with an injury that to you looks like not a big deal, but to him, he needs more time to recover. you can't necessarily criticize him for not playing through it, because although he looks fine, mentally, who knows how traumatized he really is. Mental health is handled differently for every single person, and for Black, he just had to get away for a while to realign himself and balance being the person he truly is with his newfound fame and success. He says his personal relationships began to strain, and things like writer's block and lack of motivation to create anything, not to mention his partner being able to feel the decline in him personally, made him take some time off from music or releasing a studio album for 5 years from 2018 to 2023. In between, there were songs and even an EP, but finding his next inspiration couldn't be done without taking care of his mental health. But in that time, he was forgotten, along with his fans growing without him. And when he returned with album 3, it didn't hit like the previous 2 in promotion, popularity, and some even feel quality. 5 years off in music is a long time, and it hurt Black's growth, but it helped him in ways more important in the long run. All in all, I still think Black is needed in urban music. He's a one of a kind, and his passion and work ethic will always be useful and an inspiration. It may take time to get back in the groove and to create new fans or reattract the ones he lost, but he has the talent to do so, and regardless of whatever happened, had a great run. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.